Hi, this is Gail with Beaded Jewelry Diva, and today's project is going to be this beaded chainmail bracelet. So we're going to use the inverted roundmaille pattern. I'm going to show you an easy way to start and a really pretty way to end this particular beading pattern. I will also show you some other ones that I have done, this one and then a few more, and you can tell me which one you like best, and you'll see that there's some interesting ones at the end, so let me know if you want me to do a video on either one of them as well. So if you enjoyed today's video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up because it really does help keeping me encouraged to keep making videos. And if you don't already subscribe to my YouTube channel, please go ahead and do so. Hit the bell button and you'll always be notified whenever I have a new video up. So let's get mailing. The beginning of this weave is the hardest part, and the good news is once you've got this, you can go on to all sorts of other really interesting weaves. I'm showing it to you in 3 different colors so you can understand how to start it a little bit better. And I'm kind of showing it close up so you can understand it better. I'm going to take one of my open jump rings. So I have the red ones are all open, the blues and the yellows are all closed. I'm going to grab one of the yellows, 2 of the blues, and 1 of the yellows. So it looks like this. And there is a reason that I am doing it this way. So I'm going to close the red jump ring. And then I'm going to pick up another open jump ring. And on this one, I'm going to slide on, let's see, I want a yellow and a blue. And put it in together like this, and that's wrong. Oh, put it in so it's like this, because the colors should always touch. So the blue on this ring should touch the blue on the other ring. And yes, like I said, there is a reason for this. Okay, so I've got 3 rings. And if you look at it, you can see all the blues are on one side, all the yellows are on one side, and the reds are putting them together. I'm going to take my last red, and I'm going to connect this first side to this last side, like this. So again, the 2 yellows are touching. And close up the red. Now, I'm not taking a whole lot of worry about how well I close it at this point, because to tell the truth, I'm going to come back and I'm going to replace these with other rings. But, like I said, for the purpose of showing you how to do this, I'm going to take a spare piece of wire and I'm going to put it through the yellow ring. Now, you can use a paper clip for this if you want to as well. I'm just going to use a spare piece of wire. I'm going to do the same thing for my next yellow jump ring. And I'm putting these on just to have something to hold on to for some of the next steps. And then I'm going to grab my last yellow jump ring and I'm putting wire through it. So it looks like this, which looks really, really strange, I know. But what I'm trying to do is I am trying to gather up all my wires. And I'm letting these kind of hang loose. And sometimes you just got to get it so that they hang loose like this. So you can see all my yellow ones are up top, the red ones are below them, and then below them are the blue. This is the point that we're actually going to start our weave. So to do this, you're going to open up all of your big jump rings. These are your 5mm inside diameter rings. I'm going to put it through 2 of the blue jump rings and close it up. Now the way I like to do this is I dangle them so I can see where the next set of rings goes. The next set of rings is going to join this one to this one. So here we go. I'm joining this jump ring to this next jump ring. Okay, now I'm dangling it again so I can see where the next one goes, and the next one is going to go right here between or joining these two jump rings. So again, I'm going through just the blues, and I'm closing it. And that is the absolute hardest part of this whole process, is the very beginning like this. If you need to see this again, just go ahead, hit rewind, or if you need to, you can slow it down. But this is the very beginning, and once you've mastered this, you are going to master a whole bunch of other types of round maille. You can see I also have some beads, and we're going to be adding them very shortly. But before we do that, we have to have one more row of the silver jump rings. And I think I accidentally called these 5mm inside diameter before, and these are actually 5.5mm inside diameter. You can also use 5.8mm. You could even use 6mm inside diameter if you needed to, but 5.5 is kind of like the sweet spot. So again, I've joined two here. I'm going to go and join the next two. So they're like this. And I really like the roundmaille weaves because they offer a whole lot of different options, which you'll see in just a little bit. Okay, I'm taking one more, and I'm going to join these two jump rings. And if you think about it, this one's going to be very similar to the previous beaded chainmail video that I did, because now when you open this up, it kind of looks like a flower. If I can get it blooming properly. So kind of sort of a flower. All right, I'm going to take one of my 6mm beads. I'm going to put it in, and I'm going to close up the sides. So I'm bringing the sides up together, and this is pretty much just like what we did previously. And sometimes the rings slip down, but you can see, probably not very easily, you can see where my bead is sitting nestled in this little nest, I guess. Now you want to go ahead and close up this jump ring fairly carefully because the bead can slip out. I find that it usually doesn't slip out as long as you're careful about not, swinging it wildly or whatever around. But as long as you're a little careful when you put the first one in, and then by the second one, the bead's not going anywhere. So, closing. And I'm going a little faster than usual on the closing part because I figure, I can come back and clean that up, and rather than you having to watch me fiddle around with it and be absolutely precise, I'll come back and clean it up for the purposes of demonstration and moving this right along. All right, so we've got our little rings, and if I turn them upside down, you can see our bead is captured inside, and I've got 3 rings dangling. What I want to do is, one more time I'll show it to you. I'm going to take another set of rings, and again, if you're at all concerned about which ones you should go through, you can see that these 2 rings are touching. So I'm going through these two. I just saw that I closed one of those rings really badly. Oh, trials and tribulations of doing all this stuff on camera. Okay, next two rings. And then one more set of rings, or one more ring. And again, dangle if you're not sure where that next ring should go. I can tell that it needs to go joining these two. So I'll put it through and close it. At this point, we are ready for another bead. Yay! So you'll know that when you're ready for a bead, when you dangle it like this, and there are two sets of rings. So we've got this set of rings that's closing up the bead, and then we've got another set dangling down. So flip it up to be a flower. Say that 10 times fast. Put the bead in, and then flip up these outside rings. So the rings that you're flipping up are the ones that you put on last. And that, my friends, is this weave. It's really called an inverted roundmaille, and with a bead capture. You can see I've got my last bead in, and instead of using one of the big 5.5 millimeter inside diameter, I'm picking up one of my smaller 4 millimeter inside diameter jump rings. And I'm going to use this one to close it up. And since this one looks like it wants to pop out, I'm going to close this side up really quickly so it doesn't pop out. You know, it's funny, I was saying earlier that, oh, I never have problems with beads popping out. Well, so what happened today all during my session? My beads kept popping out. Oh, well. Such is life. Okay, I've got two on, and now the third one. And again, this is just doing it the same way that we did all the big rings. Now you can put all of your other big rings away except for two. So you'll still need two of the big rings. I'm going to put on a second layer of the 4 millimeters. So a second layer of the small ones. If they will cooperate with me. There we go. And you may see that it's a little bit more difficult to close the smaller rings, but that's part and parcel of what's going on at this point. So again, if you ever lose track of where you need to put your next ring, flip upside down, and you will see where to put the next one. Okay, one more in this round, and then we're going to finish off this side. All right, last ring. Now here comes another one of the fun parts. This is the second hardest thing to do for the whole bracelet. All right, so when I flip them open like this, so this would be the point where we would do our put in a bead if we were still doing the large rings. You can see how some of these kind of flip out and some of these flip down, I guess. And you can see where I can pick them up by the inside. And I can do the same thing for this last one. I can pick it up by the inside. What we want to do, and this part is a little bit tricky, so, you know, take your time on it. I don't even get it right the first time most of the times. And I've got a piece of wire that is just driving me crazy. Okay, pick up a big ring. So this is the 5.5 millimeter inside diameter. And what you want to do is you want to pick up one of the interior rings. So again, this is an interior. grab the next interior, and then scooch it around. And you have to be very careful about this, but you're going to scooch it around until you can get it in that third flipped up ring. So there. Now let me close this up and let you see the interior a little bit better. Okay. And you can see where I'm going through this ring and this ring and this ring. And those are all three of the interior rings. So when I pop this up, it has a nice end on it, so it's a nice clean finished end. All right, so that's one end. Now let's talk about cleaning up this end. First thing to do is get rid of all the colored rings, and what I'm going to do is just take them all off. I'm even going to take off the blue ones, and at that point you're going to get another 6 of the small rings, and you're going to be doing the same thing on this side, and I will show you again what happens with the large ring on this side, just in case you need to see it again. So let me get this cleaned up and I'll be right back. I decided to leave one set of blue rings on so you could see this a little bit more easily, what I'm trying to do when I'm trying to scoop up the inverted rings. So I grab one of them, then I grab the second one, and then I have to kind of lay my large ring almost on its side in order to get through that third one. But once I'm through that third one, it's just close it up as usual. So you can see these are what the ends look like. Let me go ahead and take the blue rings off, put the silver on. We'll come back, we'll put on the clasp, and then I'll show you other examples of what you can do with this particular chainmaille weave. Okay, I've got the blue rings off, the silver rings on, and to close this one up, I'm just going to use a standard lobster claw clasp. Now, what's nice about these roundmaille weaves is because there is no up or down or whatever you want to call it, it's nice because when you clasp it, it's just going to go on appropriately. Sometimes when you have a flat weave and you try to use a lobster claw clasp, you need an extra ring, but as you can see, you don't necessarily need an extra ring. All right, so here is our original one. Now let's see some other ones. The first one I did for a demo, I used copper rings, and then I have turquoise beads on the inside. I used just a standard hook and eye clasp, and then I added some extra beads as dangles. So that's this one. Now remember we were saying that you can do other things with roundmaille? Well, here's an example. Here's something where I did a traditional roundmaille, which is these sections right here, and then I did the inverted with the bead capture. So they're just sections. So that's another kind of weave that you can do. You can just do the inverted and then you can do the regular if you want to. So we've got this, and then here's another one that I did. And this one is the same general idea, but instead of doing a roundmaille, I did a Turkish roundmaille. So you can see it kind of looks like a Byzantine, these copper colors. And then I used a different color for my large beads, and then I have black beads on the inside. And this time I just went ahead and did a herringbone weave. So there you go. Here are the examples. And again, if you want me to do a demo on either one of these bracelets, go ahead and let me know down below. Then there's this one and this one. So tell me, which one do you like best? Do you like the red, the turquoise, the purple, or the silver and black one? So let me know. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up because I really do appreciate it. This is Gail signing out saying have yourself a beautiful day. Bye.